Welcome to another episode of Enter the Pod by Entertainment Avalanche. I'm your host, Eric Burton, here with my co-hosts and friends, Derek Sorum,
Tip Tart,
Austin Maho.
Macho Wolfman.
So, lots happened here since the 4th of July. Sad news.
Real sad news.
Yeah, it really is. For those of you who aren't in the know, Nintendo's CEO, Satoru, and you'll have to excuse me on the pronunciation of this, Satoru Iwata, recently passed away on July 11th, dies at the age of 55 from a bile duct growth. So, this was something that people kind of knew about, but didn't really understand, I guess, how serious his
condition was.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't
until I read about it.
See, and the thing is when I first heard about it, which was a few years ago, the way that they said it, you didn't think it was that big of a deal.
Right.
What was announced was that, hey, I had a recent surgery to get a growth removed from, my bile duct or something to that extent. It was caught early
It's like
enough.
the exhaust port in the Death Star, equivalent to the human body.
Right.
Sorry, I don't know why I did that.
I hate you.
There's a fly in here and it's driving me bonkers. But, anyways, he announced that, hey, I had a surgery. I was diagnosed real early. I'm not suffering from any symptoms. I got it removed. And that was that. That's what they left it at. And then 2 years later, he dies unexpectedly from it. So, our thoughts and prayers go out to his friends, family, any loved ones who are affected by it. A sad deal.
A lot of people are affected by it. I mean, not just friends and family. Everyone that played the Nintendo system, basically.
That's for sure. He's been at the helm of Nintendo since 2002. That's when he became the president of Nintendo. Little interesting fact, too, which I think this might blow you guys away. It's only the fourth president Nintendo's ever had, and he's the first president that wasn't related to the original family through blood or name.
Wow. That does blow me away.
Right?
That's a huge achievement.
It really is. It really is. So we thought we'd take some time, talk about some of his accomplishments, why it's sad news, how it affects gamers, as Austin was saying, not just his friends, loved ones, and family. So, what do you guys know about him?
The only thing I knew besides the 2002 was that he actually started out almost from the bottom. I mean, if you think about it in terms of where they went. I mean, he was a programmer in the 80s.
Yep.
And then he worked his way up. I mean, that's pretty much what I knew just by a little bit of bio.
Yeah.
So I thought that I like when things like that happen. If someone stays in the industry and it's not just someone who has a degree in business or whatever,
just happened to take it over
from off the street or something. It was someone who raised in the ranks, and when they do something like that, it's someone who obviously cares about the company, cares about the field that they're in.
Sure.
So I thought that was impressive.
Yeah. And that is, I think, one of the best parts of his story is that, you're right, he did start as a programmer in the 80s. He actually had to start with HAL Laboratory Incorporated, which is it's like Nintendo's big second-party developer. For those of you who aren't aware, they've made games like Smash Brothers, the original one, Smash Brothers Melee, Kirby, a lot of the Pokemon Stadiums, Pokemon Snap, which are really popular games.
Yeah, those were really popular.
But that is probably the best part of his story, is that it wasn't because their last CEO, which, sorry, I can't remember his name, he actually announced publicly, it's bug. It's gonna hear me sing. I'm gonna have to channel my Karate Kid. Get him. Yeah, I know. I'm not that good. I don't have my black belt in fly killing.
That's tough to get. I've been working on my test for 3 years now.
Oh yeah.
I can't pass it.
Yeah. What can you get with the chopsticks?
I can get noodles and carrots and stuff.
But no.
But they can't be moving though.
Oh.
Yeah, I can pick up a grain of rice, but not in midair.
Yeah.
On my plate.
See, I'm really behind. I can't even hold chopsticks, so I got some practice.
Well, you don't have to get those little trainer ones, man.
Well, I'm a strong believer in the fork.
Is that new? I haven't heard of.
Yeah, you haven't heard the fork?
Mm-mm.
It's a pretty cool utensil.
They named a day after it. Isn't it? May the fork be with you?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyways, back to...
Yeah, so started with Hal as a programmer. One of his big gems in the ground, if you will, or jewels in the ground, was Dreamland from Kirby. He didn't make Kirby, but if he wouldn't have made Dreamland, he probably wouldn't have ever seen Kirby, ever.
True.
Really?
Yeah, and that's clear back in the Game Boy, I want to say, in the 90s.
That's what made Kirby famous, was that game.
Yep, it was like 1992 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, a while ago. Other than that, so starts as a programmer, 1980s. Creates Dreamland for Kirby's debut on the Game Boy. And then Nintendo's watching this whole time because after he gets done with his programming for HAL, takes over the company, saves it from financial collapse. Which is insane because the studio is huge for Nintendo now. I mean, it's probably their biggest studio other than Nintendo themselves.
I saw it. It flew in my line of vision.
Do we know of anything he did specifically to keep it from failing? Anything, any changes or anything he did?
Mainly his direction of the games. His philosophy on games was, instead of trying to make them more complicated and advanced, let's try to keep them simple. Make it easier for gamers to get into the games. And that's kind of one of the things Kirby was known for. It's an easy platformer.
Simplistic,
Exactly.
but still super fun.
Exactly. I mean, I loved Kirby. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Not so much now. I'm a little bit over those type of games.
Simplistic.
But for people who maybe aren't the biggest gamers in the world, you should thank him because a lot of Nintendo's path moving forward has been based off that philosophy of
Right.
Yeah. Keep it simple, stupid.
Exactly.
Yes.
Simplicity is more. I just made that up.
Oh,
Less is
same.
more. Is the
Simplicity is more. I love it.
So, but then, so Nintendo's watching him, saves HAL. They have him actually come over. He becomes director of Nintendo 2000. 2 years later, takes over Nintendo of America and becomes president and CEO of Nintendo.
Wow.
And, yeah. I mean,
And how long ago was that? I'm sorry.
2002.
2002 is when
okay.
he officially stepped into that role. And under his reign of, I wouldn't say terror.
Reign of Kirby.
That's the first thing that came to my mind. Just like terror.
Reign of terror. He had some flops and some successes, but I would say more successes than flops. He was at the helm during the release of the DS, which was back in 2004.
I bet that was a good time.
3DS, 2011.
That was a good time too.
Which those together sold over 200 million units to date. It's Nintendo's #1 selling,
Product,
yeah,
basically.
I mean, piece of technology, which is,
Well, we've already spoke before on how they have the corner on the handheld market.
did you guys ever have a 2DS, 3DS?
I have. Well, perhaps in August we will introduce our second handheld in our family. It'll be a 3DS. We have a DS, then we'll have a 3DS, and I have a Game Boy Advance and a Game Boy.
Gotcha. So you have the older generation.
I still carry
my
my Game Boy Advance in my pocket in my car.
Oh, really?
That's
Has-
awesome.
has
That's a
Zelda
sweet
on it.
backup. If you're ever stranded.
My mom loves hers. She still has one. She
Yeah.
uses it for Tetris. That's
Oh,
literally the only
Tetris.
game she has. But
That's a hardcore game.
yeah,
I
that's
love Tetris.
classic.
Yeah, my wife and I we bought it for her, and I ended up playing it a lot. We bought the newer 3DS with the dual analog sticks and stuff.
Oh, the brand new one.
Yeah, and we got her Pokemon game. And I played the new Super Mario Bros, which was super sweet.
You get Smash Brothers for it?
I haven't gotten that yet, but I want to. It's probably the next
Yeah.
game I'm gonna get for it.
I'm challenging you to get that and let me know how it is.
I
Because
bet.
that'd be the only reason I'd buy one. It's for
For
Smash
Super
Brothers. Yeah.
There's still Mario Kart I haven't bought, which I think I'd play a lot of Mario Kart
Which
too.
I've
And
heard good things about that.
yeah,
It was fun.
So, the 3D, how is it?
it's basically what everyone's saying. I mean, it doesn't give me headaches like it gives Robin headaches.
Mhm.
But it doesn't give anything more to the game. It doesn't really do much. I mean, I keep it off a lot of the time just because it's more distracting than
Gotcha.
you know,
It's a little, gimmicky a bit.
a little gimmicky. I mean, yeah, basically what it does is it blurs out the background and then it kind of just pops more like in color and focus on like on the Mario game, the platform you're on, or him or something like that. But I mean, yeah, the true 3D is going to be with the glasses and stuff like that. It was a cool attempt, and it's awesome that you can have a sweet effect like that without glasses.
It was cool that they're
But-
trying to be innovative.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
3D on a handheld, that's pretty cool.
Without glasses, yeah. And
Yeah.
so, and I like that you can scale it. So if you just want a little bit, you can do that because it's on like a slider. So if you want full on, you can do that, or if you just want a little bit, you can kind of get in
Gotcha.
between.
So it's
But,
not like.
Yeah, it hurts her eyes. She can't play with it, and I usually play with it off.
See, I've heard that from a lot of people that 3D hurts the head, hurts
Yeah.
the noggin,
Yeah,
hurts the noggin,
hurts the noggin.
hurts the noggin. And then, other than the DS's, 3DS's, his next big success was the Wii, which is Nintendo's #1 selling console of all time. Sold over, I believe, 101 million, making it the most popular console Nintendo has ever made.
Wow.
So let's talk a moment about the Wii, because I think we've all had our time with the Wii.
Yeah.
I have the
And
Wii.
maybe it was hot for a while and then cooled down pretty quick, but it was still great.
Hmm.
So, Austin, I know you're still playing the Wii.
I played it today. I lost $30 on a
Oh,
round of
that's right,
18.
on the golf.
Oh my gosh, it's so frustrating.
So, who was the big winner?
My brother.
How much did he make?
Well, it was just him and I. Usually it's me and my two brothers. I already owed him 15 going into it, so I figure I'll play 18 and I'll even out, right? I
Yeah.
won't owe him anything. Next thing I know, I owe him. It was 25, I think, when we finished up on a round of 18, and we were stride for stride the first 9, and then I had a meltdown on like hole 13. I didn't have time to catch back up, and he knew it.
So, are you playing on Wii Sports?
Yeah,
Is there only
or
one course?
Wii Sports as the first one. Then we ended up getting Wii Sports Resort with the plus the
the little expansion.
yeah,
that
which
you
actually
did.
does do a lot, especially 4-week golf.
Yeah.
So that came with another course. So you have 18 holes overall. But that's the one that we're still playing. But yeah, I mean, on a general sense, it was just huge for families and casual gamers, and I played a ton of it. And then now I'm just playing the Wii golf for money.
What about you, Derek? What are your memories of the Wii?
Well, more so along the lines of the Wii U, but we do have the Wii. Definitely a family product. I mean, it's the one thing that my wife and I look at. What can we get for some kind of games that the kids can play? I have it. I see your eyes shaking after that flag. I did get the Wii because of Zelda.
Yeah.
I've been a huge Zelda fan ever since the beginning
Mm-hmm.
of time.
Yeah. Well, most people who have been with Nintendo for the NES days are a Zelda fan.
Yeah, and that's why I got the Wii. Was man, you're gonna drive me nuts.
I'm sorry.
Where's
I
that?
ignored the
Where's that?
fly.
I saw it in my face. No, I got it for Zelda. It's Nintendo. Fun for families. Fun for the games like Mario Kart. I will always buy a Mario Kart game. I will always buy a Zelda game. I do get a kick out of the Marios, but it's definitely a system that if I want to do some gaming during the daytime, that's what I play, because I know that whenever I put on, my kids are going to be able to watch.
Well, my time with the Wii was mainly with bowling.
Bowling was good.
Oh my god.
100-pin bowling.
I spent so much time bowling. My friend and I, Dustin, if you're watching, shout out to Dustin.
Dustin.
Dustin?
We made up this, because I don't quite remember how it worked, but after you got like a certain average score, you get like a special star ball.
Yeah,
And it
you
didn't
go
make
pro or whatever.
Yeah, and it didn't make it better, but it was bragging rights.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
Star ball.
So we would pretend that if you could get that, you got a chevron jacket. Like he's a NASCAR driver. I got the chevron jacket. So, just saying. But a lot of bowling, which was so fun. I mean, it was so cool to be able to bowl.
Only reason we don't play that in Gamble is because my brother just seems to know the trick to it, and none of us can beat him. So.
And that was the problem with bowling, is after like 13,000 games, it was like, I can sit down and throw this thing any way I want and I'll get a strike. That used to get kind of frustrating. But bowling, so amazing.
Yeah.
Tennis,
Yeah.
Tennis was fun.
broke a lot of stuff playing tennis.
Really?
Yeah.
I finally came up with
Like
the
throwing
straps. And,
Well, that's a funny story. We should talk about throwing. But no, we'd get a little carried away. We'd be like moving and stuff.
oh.
So next thing you know, you'd like bump into a table and break a picture. It's like, oh god. I hope your parents don't care. But do you guys have any experiences of the controller being thrown through a TV?
No, I'm psychotic about my TV.
Gotcha.
I'm
Psychotic.
unbelievably psychotic about my TV.
Yeah.
Like, my daughters will get within 3 feet of the TV. I'm like, what are you doing? No, stop! Don't you move any closer!
Get behind the yellow line that you've taped around.
They're like, let me see some gymnastics. I'm like, do gymnastics in the hallway where you won't hit the TV.
And I can't see.
Celebrate the
It's
TVs
my
for
baby.
you.
You know?
I agree with you.
So, if we do any games, now we don't really do any games where they're moving things around.
Yeah.
But when they do, that little wristband will be cutting off circulation. It'll be so tight. So that way when it flies, it swings back and hits him in the head or something. It will not go to my TV.
You got like a metal band like soldered to the controller to make sure.
I'll put a bolt right through the wrist. And I'm like, okay, now you can carry that
You guys
with
want
you
to play the
wherever you
Wii?
go.
Just get my welder.
Like, well, congratulations, you now have a new appendage. It's your remote. Make sure you put batteries in it.
You're the
Or
world's
you don't.
first cyborg.
Exactly.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you're part human, part Nintendo.
So my same buddy Dustin.
Dustin.
Yeah, Dustin. So his sister Shay had some friends over and they were playing the Wii. And I don't know the full story. I got this secondhand. I wasn't there for it. But one of her friends let go of the controller, hits the TV, and puts like a small crack in it. But you couldn't see the crack until the TV was turned on. So Dustin's father, Alvin, comes home, turns on the TV. I guess the whole family's there, and doesn't say anything for a while. He's just watching TV. So, what the hell's wrong with my TV? I guess Shay just takes off, locks
Just
herself
bolts.
in the room. Yeah. So.
I don't know. Don't ask me.
Yeah. I think it just happened. Why is it in the shape of a Wii controller? One of those things.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that to happen.
Oh man.
They're not old enough yet. Luckily, they're still young, but I'm waiting for them.
Well, I remember the horror stories. That
Yeah, you saw pictures all the time.
Well, you see YouTube
TVs.
videos all the time of people like smashing TVs with. I'm like, how hard are you trying to hit that tennis ball, buddy? Come on.
I think it's interesting to me that it didn't seem to impact the sales at all.
No.
But you were seeing it all the time. That's all I saw was TVs with the wheel sticking halfway in and halfway out.
Yeah, I was gonna say you'd see
Okay.
some with like the DLPs where literally the controller would still be in the screen.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh.
It's because of those videos I won't even let my daughters breathe on. They get really close. No, my breath is gonna ruin.
I love you, but not as much as the Sony. Samsung, actually.
Samsung is the way to go. For
Yeah,
sure.
they-
I will say this one last thing for the Wii on my end was it actually was perfect for me at my age because that was before I got the 360. I was still I guess more of a young adult, so I wasn't playing the 360 with.
Well, and the
Kennedy and
360
stuff like
was
that.
still pretty new and expensive.
Yeah, and I think I had just gotten a job, so the Wii for me, we actually ended up, because it was so difficult to get, my brother and I, we, at a Best Buy, camped out the night before at like 9 p.m. in November, which was my only experience camping out for the system.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was crazy. We went out there and,
You got one?
yeah, we got one. We were second in line, I think.
Oh, so.
And so what they did was at like 6 or 7, they gave you all tickets, and you come back to
Vouchers.
the store open.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, and you bought it. He bought 2 and sold. I think he sold both of them on eBay for like $400 or something like that.
Capitalism at its finest.
And I
Yeah.
kept mine, and it was my Christmas present from my parents, but I had to go get it.
Yeah.
So, but that was awesome. I
It
loved
was
that.
worth it.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
loved it.
Yeah, 2006 is when that came out. I was just barely gotten to college. I remember really wanting one, but
Well,
like I
if
said,
you-
they
if
were
you-
impossible to get.
Yeah.
If you think about it, I mean, Nintendo had that market. I mean, yeah, the Wii, people were waiting in line forever. Throw back to the 64. I mean, when Nintendo 64 came out, that was, you ask almost anybody who, well, maybe my age, I guess, but that was the end-all be-all of systems. That
Oh, yeah.
was the cat's meow. That was the dog's dangly bits, if you will.
The bee's knees.
The bee's knees. I mean, everybody wanted that system.
I was 64, loved it.
I know people who got the games they could because the system wasn't available, so they were renting. That was me.
Yeah.
You know, I bought Mario 64 and I couldn't play it unless I went to the store and rented it because it was always constantly sold out.
Gosh.
You had GoldenEye.
Dustin.
Dustin!
Plays the PS4.
You had GoldenEye. You had Mario Kart. I mean, still to this day, I cannot pick up a controller and play GoldenEye because it drives me that much insane.
It's so hard.
And I was playing with people during college where they played versus with no radar, golden gun, and no body armor. Which probably led, as you know, my hatred to first-person shooters, with the exception of Destiny.
Yeah.
I think it was GoldenEye 64 that led to my hatred of first-person shooters, because I then realized how crappy I am at those games. These guys, I mean, 64 was an awesome system.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Agreed.
Yeah, I played a lot of the 64, which was before Iwata was the CEO, but it was like the building foundation to what would become the GameCube.
Right.
Which it should be said, he was a big supporter and maybe the driving force for what us GameCube people got. Because they was getting ready to throw that thing just away. You know, it's not going anywhere. We're done with it. Pokemon Stadium, that should be mentioned. Thanks to him mainly.
Yeah.
I played a crap ton of that. Maybe too much. But I digress. So let's move forward to the Wii U, which, boy, I got a lot of people playing. Not as popular as the Wii, for multiple reasons. And I would probably consider this, well, under his helm, probably his biggest flop as CEO.
Yeah.
You think so?
Well, I mean, they lost so much money from, that transition. He literally took a 50% pay cut.
Wow.
Yeah, as CEO, which he's probably still making millions.
Right.
You know, so.
Oh, 50%
Yeah.
only a 20
Oh,
million a year.
yeah. Instead of making the 50, I guess 21 million's fine, whatever. But still, that being said, there isn't a lot of CEOs that would do that. I mean, look at some of the fiascos at EA or Ubisoft.
Oh, man.
How many of those people took a 50% pay cut?
People
Probably not.
Yeah.
Took a 100% pay cut.
And another good thing about him too is during those flops, he would come out and he would take the hit for it. That it was under my leadership. I'm to blame for it. So there it
Let's
is.
fix it up and get something
It's
out.
kind of amazing he didn't get his ass fired. Actually, to be completely
so?
honest. I mean, I think his early successes with the Wii, the 3DS, the DS, and what he did with HAL Laboratories, because like I said, that game was in a nosedive. I mean, they were
But-
going down.
I think what people don't realize, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be way off base here, but Nintendo still has a bigger following in Japan than it does over here
Yeah.
for like the Wii U
Yeah.
and the games that they have for it. I was watching a couple of the trailers for the E3, and they're Japanese based, and I think they have a huge following over there, and the different games that they release that we will never see stateside.
Yeah.
That's okay with me.
You know, they probably rival Sony over there. I wouldn't know.
Well, and you're right. The Japanese following is huge, which is cool. But the problem is Japan is such a small country and such a low demographic. Even if everybody in that country bought a Wii U,
Right.
it's still not enough to drive a profit for that particular console. And
Wow.
that's the issue with even Sony. Now, Sony's, they're destroying it worldwide.
They're
Thank
rocking
God for them, which is good because the money they spent on the PlayStation 4 compared to the development of the Wii U was more because it's a much higher price piece of technology.
Right.
But you're right. If you went to Japan, you would probably see that there's a lot of Nintendos in a lot of those homes, which makes sense. I mean,
Right.
you could say the same thing about Apple in America. You're going to see a
Or
lot more
hamburgers.
homes. Exactly. So,
A lot more hamburgers in our houses.
so many more hamburgers.
I'm a
America.
hamburger. America.
But the Wii U, as we talked about in our last week's podcast, they're trying. I mean, there still isn't really anything on the horizon that sounds too great.
They do have a new version of the Wii Golf. I almost bought a Wii U a couple of times just for the Wii Golf.
Well, you have the Wii U?
No, just the
Oh,
Wii.
you're thinking about
We,
getting
we
the
bought
Wii U.
Yeah.
the we
Gotcha.
bought the Wii U for Zelda, which still has yet to come out. But my wife is excited about the new Yoshi Woolly World that's
Because
coming
it's
out. That's
cute.
been pushed back again,
Yeah.
which we won't talk about in my household.
Ooh. Well, Nintendo, I feel like they keep shooting themselves in their foot. I mean, this is the last fiscal year they actually announced a profit, which I think's less with the Wii U, more about the Ambio or whatever they're called system. Amiibos, yeah. It's because they're selling those things like hotcakes.
Yeah.
And they can't keep them on the
You
shelves.
collect dragons.
You can what?
Amiibo dragons.
Oh, you collect them?
My wife collects them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
started
cool.
Started with the Wii and Skylanders. That's what it started.
Skylanders.
Well, I know people who buy those who don't even have a Wii U just because they like to put them up like these little knickknacks on the
They're
shelves.
cool. We have them all.
Little
We have them
knickknacks.
all lined up. We have all the dragons from the original Skylander.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kicking myself in the butt right now for not having them in the original packaging because I have a feeling,
Yeah.
all you people who have not opened them yet, because you can play the game without taking them out of the package. Hint.
Oh, you can?
You can.
So
Wow.
you can use those characters without popping them out?
Right.
That's
Really?
what you should be doing. Then.
Collectors.
Yeah, you got 'em screwed up, son.
We done screwed up, son. Plus 10 because we didn't find it out. We didn't find that out until we bought our last dragon.
Well, and
And we have. I mean, think about it in terms of like any type of other collectors out there. Those are going to be the first edition, right? Because they've released all these other ones, so we
Right.
have all the first edition. We waited for the releases. We would look online and wait for the release of the next dragon, so we could go out and buy the dragon.
yeah.
And now we opened all the packages and then we're zilch.
Well, you actually make a good point, because for all you naysayers out there, it's like, nah, that stuff won't be worth it. On the NES, and my grandma had one of these. I was so mad when I think about it. Do you guys remember the old trackpad system for the NES where you could play
Yeah,
track and
of
do
course.
the? So if you have one of those pads in the game, you can sell those right now for about $75,000 to $80,000. That's in mint condition. So you just want maybe 30 to 40, whatever. We played the crap out of that at my grandma's house. So I get on, I think it was IGN, and I see that someone sold this, and I was like, what?
Money.
So I hurry and text my grandma, Grandma.
What are you doing right now?
Yeah, like,
Come over.
Whatever you do, don't get rid of that. Calls my mom. What, Eric? No, I already took that to the DI, which is like salvage army. She just
my.
gave it to him. Gave it to him.
Gave him 35 grand.
Probably, yeah. Probably
So,
would have been out too.
I have a friend who was one of those people that was a collector.
I love you, but ooh.
He was a collector
Grandma.
from the beginning of time.
Mhm.
He was just one of those people that for some reason he understood that these things were going to have a value to them.
Yeah.
So he would often go out and buy two. One that he could open
One
and
could
one
stay.
that he wouldn't open. And this is the type of guy that had the Zelda Gold case and its original.
Those two. Got rid
Final,
of them.
Final
Dang
Fantasy
it.
1 in its original packaging. My brother, which I did tell him about the other day, because it is getting progressively later and later
Mhm.
as time goes by, he has Mega Man Legends 2 on PlayStation 1, which he doesn't even have a PlayStation 1 anymore, but he
Yeah.
sells the game. That game's right now selling for $90.
Oh, wow. Ignore that.
Tim!
Tim Daly? What, Tim?
Shout out to Tim!
Tim, who'll never watch this?
I have made sure to keep the N64 cartridge of James Bond of GoldenEye, just in case
So
in
you
50
keep-
years.
It is worth
Keep-
something.
Yeah. And I've
Smart.
told my parents this because it's at their house, because they keep all their. We still have Sega Genesis and all this stuff. None of it's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
packaging.
kicking myself in the butt for giving away my Sega Genesis and Sega CD in
Yeah, we
one.
didn't have that one. That's pretty sweet.
With the Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch game.
Oh,
We created the video
Oh.
to Good Vibrations. What?
Good
Yeah, that's what I'm
vibration.
saying. That's
Excuse
what
our
I'm saying.
dance.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too, is, I mean, it's going to be a long time before the Wii accessories for, like you said, the Skylanders or whatever is going to be worth something.
Start now.
Exactly. So if you do get them, like Derek said, I didn't know this. I thought you had to pop them out.
I would assume so.
You don't.
That's awesome.
But think about it, when you go to the store and they have the little thing set up, what do to try it out? You put the stupid
Yeah, you grab
Case
the character.
right on it.
Yeah. No,
and it works.
that's true. Live and learn.
I would have put those up next to my TVs and not let my daughters touch them. No!
Get away from that.
You scratched the letter. That's coming out of your college fund.
That's like torture, putting toys that your kids can't play with.
Not my problem.
My 40-year-old virgin.
I don't make the rules. I just make the rules.
Yeah. Man, I don't make the rules. I just think them up and write them down.
That's all I do.
Yeah, that's it.
Boom.
South Park, for those of you who don't know. But, Wii U. I mean, It sucks that it was a flop because we all want Nintendo to be successful. I don't want Nintendo to go anywhere because of Zelda, because of Mario, Smash Brothers.
Yep.
I'm not buying a Wii U because of the NX console news. I'm scared to buy it to find out that
It's not going to be compatible, or they're going to do
exactly. It's like I'm not going to drop what's the Wii U at right now? About 300,
I think
Still,
I think
yeah.
300. Yeah.
something like at least.
And
around.
that might come with an extra game or something too.
So I don't want to pay $300 for that for the NX to come out the next year, and then give them another 300.
Right.
Yeah. That's
Even if it comes out a year or two, that's probably the best way to go at this point. Now that they've announced they're working on something, it's hard to invest in something that you know is going to be fairly obsolete
Well,
as soon as they get done with
for sure.
next. So
When you look
I
at their
like
game development too, I mean, how long did it take for the Wii U to actually get some quality games? 3 years?
Gosh, man.
Yeah.
About right?
Yeah, I mean Mario Kart just came out. Super Smash Brothers just came out.
Mario Kart 8 came out
Last summer.
last summer.
It was like May
'Cause
or
that's
June.
when I
Last
bought
May.
it.
or
So a
June.
year ago.
Yeah, because that's when I bought it.
But not too long ago. Still, I mean, big picture, the Wii U came out in 2012. Their first big game started dropping in 2014, 2 years
Two steps
after the
around.
release.
Yeah.
They did have one. Well, it was the Luigi game. Can't remember.
Well, it was Super Mario Brothers U with Luigi U.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was a 2-gamer in one.
So that was their big game. But other than that, that Zombie U or U Zombie or whatever, I had a friend who had that.
It looked cool.
And in concept it was, but the big problem I think they had with it is there wasn't a player base.
Mm.
So, and again, I think that was because of how they advertised and delivered the Wii U. They never should have called it the Wii U. Should have had a totally new name.
Yeah.
They never should have advertised the movement controllers. That should have been something down the road. It's because a lot of people were confused. Oh, it's a new Wii. It's the limited edition Wii. No, not quite. So that was probably a flop on his part, which he's not the only one that makes these decisions.
Right.
So,
I'm sure it goes through
Nintendo
tons
pays
of people.
exactly. There's a lot of business heads that were putting that together. One of the big things too that he should definitely get credit for is Nintendo before him. I don't want to say cloak and daggers, but they were very secretive. You didn't really know a lot what was going behind the doors with Nintendo.
Right.
Their developments, what was coming out. If you had Nintendo Power magazine, you get some blips in there because that
Oh,
was
yeah.
I remember Nintendo Power.
yeah. It's kind of sad that went the way of the birdie.
Yeah, I know, right?
I think that disappeared 4 or 5 years ago.
I think so. And I like it more. I have Game Informer now, and I like it more than Game Informer.
Yeah. Well, and I've also heard too that old copies of Nintendo Power are worth money now.
What?
Yeah.
I've
So
got a whole stack of them.
don't get rid of them.
Sweet.
Maybe what we should do for one
They're
podcast
flash,
is
but-
bring them in and do like a flashback.
It's
Oh,
yeah, it's
that's
fun to
big.
read about like upcoming games from there. It's like 2006 or whatever. Like, this game's gonna be the best.
We'll auction them off.
Yeah.
What drug you intake? They're ours now. But he had a series called Iwata Asks, and the whole purpose of it was he had interviews with game developers making games for Nintendos. And it was like a behind-the-scenes peek,
That's cool.
which I don't know if you guys ever caught any of those on YouTube or anything. I mean, looking back at it now, it's not as cool because it's been out for a while, and I think Nintendo's kind of seen what Xbox and PlayStation have done and realized we need to be more open just to get some hype generated.
Right.
But when it first started, it was like, this is unheard of. There are people that work for Nintendo. I thought they were just using Japanese magic. But no, there's actually humans there.
Working on stuff.
And then other than that, right now, Nintendo has not announced a new president. They're going to have a couple of dudes working together, which are pretty popular. I know this name will strike a bell with a lot. Miyamoto, Zelda, for those of you who don't know, and Takeda, which he's one of the big faces actually for more of the America branch of Nintendo.
Okay.
He was actually at their digital event for E3. He was one of the Muppet dudes.
Right.
Both of those guys were. So if you're trying to put a face to the name,
Think of the Muppets.
yeah, think of the Muppets. From
Yeah,
the
leave the
visual
Muppets from
event.
E3.
So, again, it's sad news he's gone, and we don't mean this with any disrespect whatsoever. But with the leaving of one president, CEO, there's going to be a new path probably going forward with Nintendo. after they get onto the NX. I mean, they're not going to scrap that. They've already put too much money in it.
Right.
So let's take a moment and talk about what we're hoping is going to be the future of Nintendo under this new leadership, whoever that may be. So, what do you guys want from Nintendo? What are the things they need to learn from, well, heck, more than the last decade of what Nintendo's been doing?
I want to see them open it up to a older gamer base, and maybe they can develop something, because I know Nintendo's all about family and all about the gaming of the family. I mean, that's what you think about. You think about, if I'm going to have kids and I'm going to have a family gaming system, what am I going to get? I'm going to get Nintendo. Find out some way to put parental controls of some sort if you want, or password. I don't care what it is, but you need to open it up. You need to open it up to teenager, above 20s, 30s, more than just a drinking game that you're going to play like bowling or golf or whatever. I mean, those are what they are.
Right.
But I need to have a game other than Zelda that I'm going to be able to purchase for it, because right now that's all I'm going to purchase.
So give us an example of type of games you'd like games that you play on your PlayStation that you think are more of what you'd hope Nintendo would do.
Well, I'd like to see a better RPG like they used to do in the past with Secret of Mana. And I mean, that's a great game.
I played that a lot on the Super Nintendo
Right?
with my brother and dad.
When was the last time they came up with an RPG on Nintendo you actually thought about playing?
Well, not counting the handhelds, because what is it, Fire Emblem or whatever? Those are pretty popular RPGs. But on the consoles, I mean, I don't really consider Zelda an RPG.
No.
I mean, it's pretty. I mean, it is open world and stuff, but there isn't really a leveling system.
Yeah, you don't really level up. You get hearts and you
Yeah.
get some extra weapons.
Yeah, exactly.
But they don't.
Equipment, yeah.
And if you think, I mean, Nintendo really. That's where Final Fantasy started.
Yeah.
They had. You played a lot of RPGs on Nintendo, and they don't have them.
Yeah.
There's not one that I can recall. I'm sure there's someone out there going to say, oh, well, there's this and that. Well, you're a hardcore fan that buys Japanese releases that we can't get.
I hear you.
Right. So they have those, but they don't have an RPG based game. I don't know, maybe something a little bit more action-y. I don't really think of any action games. I think of Mario, but I don't think of games like
I agree. That's more platforming
Tomb Raider
than action
or-
adventure.
Right.
I mean,
right.
There was a game for Wii called Red Steel, I think.
I remember Red Steel. It was like a samurai.
It was like a
sword.
samurai sword with the first-person shooter
You
aspect.
could
of
have
it.
guns and
Guns and swords. It was kind of like a Kill Bill kind of thing,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I played that a little bit, but yeah, I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if it's possible to open up to all those.
That's what I'm afraid of. But
Yeah.
I don't think they should try to get into everything. I don't want some president to come in and say, okay, let's come out with our 2K15 or let's come out with something to follow up Drake or, any of those other things. They don't need to, but they can pick a genre and go for it.
I hear it. What were you, Austin? What were you hoping for?
Gosh, man, I think I'm gonna kind of take the devil's advocate route and just kind of go in the opposite direction and just go. I think less party games is good because I think there's too many of those. There's too many mini game type games.
Yeah.
I think they should do family multiplayer games where there's co-op.
Did you get it? No.
Man, it felt like it.
Suspense
It
was
looked
coming. I was like, oh.
fooled me.
Got it.
Yeah, family and co-op and multiplayer kind of games, where you can play with a couple different people. I mean, if there's any more Wii Sports, I would definitely buy it because this is what I use it for. But
Yeah.
I think less minigame type games, and I remember they tried to do like Resident Evil they did for the Wii and stuff like that, and Red Steel, and I think for me, I would want it to be less expensive and just work as a secondary console. I'm willing to buy a PS4 for my hardcore games and Call of Duty, and then I'm willing to buy a Wii as a secondary console for the multiplayer co-op stuff with the motion controls and Wii Sports and stuff like that you can't get with PS4. Any game that's an action-oriented, and I have the option of going PS4 or Wii U, even if the graphics are the same, I'm going to go for the PS4 every time.
Yeah.
So I want something I can't get with the PS4 on the Wii, and I want it to be less expensive, so I can afford both.
That's a good call. I mean, now that you bring that point up, that's a good call. I mean, it would be something fun that if you have people over, I'm not going to whip out 3 PS4 controllers and say, okay, guys, let's game up. No, that's my system.
Right.
But I'd be more willing to say, okay, I have 5 nunchucks here. Let's load up and get a battle.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and I agree with both of you, actually. I'd be somewhere in the middle. I do want more games that maybe aren't necessarily just for adults. Because one thing is, I think that would kind of kill Nintendo at this point, because they do have the image of being the family's console.
Mm-hmm.
But they definitely can, I think, maybe branch out a little bit more. If you're going to do original ideas, why not make a more adult-themed original idea?
Right.
Like Splatoon. It's really cool, and I actually did get finally a chance to play it at Best Buy. It was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But my one beef with it is I still feel like it's so kid-oriented, and I'm not saying that about the mechanics of the game or the actual gameplay itself. The aesthetics drives me insane.
Yeah.
I want something. Get away from this cartoonish stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And not every game you make has to be a cartoony looking game.
Right.
I mean, even Mario is cartoony.
Yeah.
And I get people love it for that, but I get tired of seeing it with every Nintendo game.
Yeah. I
mean,
agree.
it just gets a little boring, I think.
And they need to expand out, like Derek was saying too, because while we all love Mario and Zelda and stuff like that, those shouldn't be the only reasons why we buy a system. We should want to play other stuff to hold ourselves over.
And they've been running Mario and Zelda to death.
Yeah.
And great. Don't get away from those staples, because people do want the next Mario. People do want the next Zelda.
But we should. I think we're entitled to more than just that.
Give us a different character.
Well,
that
for
we can
how
get
much
behind.
they're asking for this Wii U, we definitely do. I
Right.
would agree with you 100% if that console was $189 to $200. I'm not going to spend $300 to $300, and I think it's actually $329.99
For a secondary
game.
console.
That's insane. Yeah, I mean, that's right now. I can actually right now at this very moment, I could hop online, buy a new Xbox One for $320. It comes with an extra controller, the Master Chief Collection, Assassin's Creed Unity.
That's a good setup. I mean, that makes me want to buy an Xbox One.
Oh, I was just saying. I was like, I want to buy an Xbox.
But I mean, so just a little scenario. You're at a store. Your loved one, wife, whatever, says, go buy a new console. You've earned it, honey. You got the Wii U. Let's say you didn't have one.
Okay.
Xbox One. Literally same price. The Xbox One, you get the 2 games, controller. The Nintendo, you get the gamepad, 1 controller, and they do usually now come with 1 Mario game. It's probably not going to be the brand new Mario. It's probably going to be the Mario U or whatever. What are you going to choose for that price?
In retrospect, with the purchase that I made, again, not being a Microsoft fan, I'd probably still go for the Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, that just seems like too good of a deal to pass up.
Right? It's a better system, better graphics,
There's going to be more games that I'm going to want to play.
much more games. I mean,
Yeah.
there's more games on the Xbox than there is for the PlayStation right now, and a lot newer games coming out this year than the PlayStation or Nintendo. And that just makes me want to hit my head against the wall. What's Nintendo doing?
Right?
It's because, say what you will about Microsoft, I know there's a lot of naysayers, but they're making themselves competitive by watching what their competitors are doing.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like Nintendo is in Japan being like, F
They're
it.
just stuck in their own ways and
Exactly.
blinders. This is
it.
what's happening.
We don't care what the market wants. This is what we want.
I can't believe how much the Xbox has dropped their price and added more stuff. You're exactly right. When it first came out, it was
A
way
nightmare.
more expensive
$500.
and way less stuff you're getting now. That's actually just a better value.
It's a bargain, especially for anyone who's still waiting to make that transition. This is the time to jump on it. And
For sure.
for those of you who are like, oh my god, I do want to go get this, remember, Walmart does a price match. You don't have to order this online. Just load it up, go to Walmart, show it to them, and they'll give it to you for that price.
Yeah.
And same thing with PS4 too, because now they've dropped their price, and now you get The Last of Us with it automatically, an extra controller and stuff
Mine
like
came
that.
with
So,
that, yeah.
so even they're doing stuff to, and they're selling tremendously well. They're still doing stuff like that just to be competitive.
So that would be my one thing, is I want Nintendo to be more competitive with what the industry is asking for, especially if you're not pushing out as high of quality, and I don't mean that their games aren't as good, but as advanced as the PlayStation and
Advanced.
Yeah, we're
Microsoft.
talking graphic-wise.
Yeah.
It's not...
You have no excuse for
Not
selling that
close.
Wii U for the price that you are when Microsoft and PlayStation are making theirs so competitive right now.
Right.
So that's my first thing, is make it a bargain. And if you're not, you better put something out that's as good, if not better, than what the other companies are doing.
One thing though that I forgot to mention, I don't think Nintendo doesn't have a subscription-based thing to play online, right? So I wonder if their idea is that you pay a little more up front and you can still play online and have all those features without paying the monthly fee. Even though it doesn't bother me.
But you have no game that you want to play with others.
No, that's true too.
Yeah.
Okay, why are you going to play
I mean,
online?
even now, because I
Smash
do play,
Brothers, I guess.
Well, and I do
Mario
play,
Kart.
I do play games, but the only thing I think of, I don't want to play with an 8-year-old. That's what I'm thinking. I see the Mii's running around, and I can see the tags that people leave, and oh, here's the challenge I did on Mario. But I look at every one of them like, great, so I'm going to go up against a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old. No.
Mhm.
So that'd be my next thing then, is I'm glad you guys actually mentioned it, because it transitions perfectly to the next thing I'd like to see change. Your operating system needs to be much more open and available to developers. Simple as that. By doing that, you're going to help your online market, which is going to help those type of games get more people playing. Is because right now playing online on a Wii U. Now, I can't say this 100%. This has only been when I've been hanging out with friends who have the Wii U. It's a pain in the ass to play with other people online.
No, that's what it was for the Wii.
Yeah.
It's super tough.
Well, it really didn't even exist on the Wii. I mean, it felt like they threw it in secondhand. Like, just because we
You
have
can play
to.
online, kind of, but not really. And you had to get your friend code or whatever. You only play with people that you knew, I think is what it was, and you had to get them to send you like a 16-digit code to type in to play with them.
So irritating.
Yeah, that was rough.
So irritating. So that'd be the next thing I'd say. You need to change that. I don't know what you're thinking with this NX console, but the operating system better be much more open than what it has been. So it's like Austin said, I'm not looking for Call of Duty on a Nintendo. I'm not looking even for Far Cry on a Nintendo. I'm not looking for The Division or Destiny on the Nintendo. But I think it would be pretty cool if you could get some of these developers to make something unique for your console that's new to Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're trying to get better. I mean, look at Hyrule Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's like one of the first major Nintendo character game not made by Nintendo,
Right.
which is unheard of, you know. So, in their defense, they're trying to get better at that.
Right.
And then, I think as far as games go, like I said, I wouldn't mind some RPGs. That would be cool, especially if Nintendo put their charm on it. I don't mean the cartoon charm. You know, it's hard to describe, but Nintendo has. You can play a Nintendo game, and after you're done playing it, say that's a Nintendo game. And
Yeah.
they're usually fun. I can't really think of a lot of Nintendo games I've hated.
They're usually games we keep.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
That's a good point.
They hold their
Like,
value.
There's a lot of PlayStation games that I'll beat or play, and I'll immediately get rid of
Be
it.
done
the
with,
next
yeah.
thing.
Yep.
But my Nintendo games, I've kept.
Yep. No, that's a very good point, and that is true.
Another scenario I was kind of thinking of just now was if they did just completely go in a different direction. Let's say the next batch of consoles comes out, you have a PS5 or Xbox, whatever.
Yeah.
And then let's say Nintendo went that same route. You
Which they
got
probably will.
equivalent of a PS4, let's just say, with the Nintendo system. It's got like a GameCube controller, no motion controls. You've got all the games you would, plus you do get the Mario games too. Would you guys go for that over an Xbox or a PS4? If you got the same type of processing power and graphics and controller and no motion controls, and they basically went for a hardcore system, but they also made the Nintendo and Zelda games with it. You think you'd get it
Well, I
instead
would
of
get it, but it wouldn't be first.
I agree with Derek. Whenever new hardware comes out, I'm always going to first go to what's the latest and the greatest, because at this point, I've seen what this generation of consoles can give as far as gameplay, graphics. I want to see what's the new thing, you know? So even if there's a significant price difference, I'm more likely to go spend the extra money because I want to be current. I want to see the new cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's cool that Nintendo's catching up. And at that point, too, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the next consoles coming out aren't the consoles we're used to. I can see them being stream machines where you're streaming this, you
Yeah.
know, and the capacity of games isn't going to be determined by how good of a graphics card you have anymore, because you're streaming it, we can go as high as we want.
from a supercomputer in
Exactly.
California or whatever.
And honestly, I think that is where the industry's going. And if Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo are smart, they're going to realize that really what we want to be is the operating system. We want to be the iTunes of the gaming world. We want you to buy this stuff through us because that's where the money is. You don't necessarily have to own it or create a console to make your money. That's why Steam, I think the Steam machine is going to be so cool because we're going to let everyone make Steam machines, not just us. Alienware, Dell, which are the same company. But a whole bunch of companies make these consoles. We're just going to be the operating system. We're going to be the ones giving you the games. So, I don't know. What about you? Would you?
I don't know. I mean, if I got equivalent to a PS4 but I played Mario, I don't know. I'd be intrigued. And they ditched the, motion controls, and you had a controller that you could.
But over
play
the
Call of
new
Duty and stuff.
generation of the PS5.
Yeah, that was your question. Was would you do?
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Would you do the Wii XYZ over the PS5?
Right. I think I might. I think I'd consider if it was the same price and you got the same thing, except you also got the Mario with it, kind of like the best of both worlds
Keep
situation.
in mind too the game situation. Nintendo may put down 3 good games, which are awesome, but on the PS5 and the Xbox One, 2, or whatever, you're gonna have a lot more games. Again, it's gonna be better graphics,
true.
probably new mechanics, 4K capabilities, I imagine. I mean, it's tough. It's a lot of speculation on what's going to be next.
Right.
But it's like Derek said, I'd probably get a Nintendo console, but it's not going to be my first console
No.
when a new
Secondary.
hardware comes up. Yep. I'm always going to get the latest and greatest first. That being said, let's go ahead and wrap it up. This will be kind of a shorter podcast for this week.
Okay.
Starting on our next podcast, we'll be discussing some of the Comic-Con news that has came out. It's still wrapping up, so we're going to hold off until it's done, and we
Okay.
can just kind of get all of it out.
A lot of surprises
at once.
coming, I'm sure.
Exactly. So again, my name is Eric, also known as Ebu, on the PlayStation Xbox networks. Here again with my friends and host, Derek Sorum.
Tit-tart!
Tit-tart! Austin.
It's not Mayhem.
It's not Mayhem.
PlayStation Network, Macho Wolfman.
Thanks for watching. Tune in next week. Please share, subscribe, leave a comment if you will. Thanks.